Hello, welcome to Introduction of Java Programming series. In this episode, we will be continuing with control statement. For those who haven't watched my previous episode on control statement, can watch the previous episode. This is in continuation with the previous episode of control statements. In this episode, we will be talking about iteration statement, that is loops, for, while and do while loop, and jump statement. Continue. So moving on to loops. So there are three types of loops, that is for loop, while loop and do while loop. All the three loops have declaration or initialization variable, a checking condition, and an increment variable which is used to increment the initialized value or decrement the initialized value. Why we use loop? Loop is basically used to do a particular work again and again until a particular or a specific condition does not met. For example, if you see the structure of for loop, then in for loop we have first of all initialization variable which is declared. After that we are having the checking condition, and after that we have the control variable. As you can see, int I is the initialized variable whose value is initially 0. Checking condition is I should be less than 10. That means it will work from 0 to 9 total 10 times. And I plus plus, that means it will increment by 1 after each loop. So there is a braces, right? So the statement which is within this braces will be executed again and again until the condition matches. Similarly, the while structure look like this. In this we have a checking condition. The variable which we needs to initialize, we initialize it at early stage so that we can use it in while loop. So in while loop we have a checking condition followed by the statement and the increment variable loop. Okay, and but in the case of do while loop we have a declared or initialized variable. After that, the statement which we wants to execute, we write that up followed by increment or decrement operator, and at the end we check the condition. Like in this structure you can see that int x equals to 1 is the initialized variable. Do, here we write the statement. After that int x plus plus will be my incrementing loop control variable, and while x is greater than 5 is my condition. So it will check while x is greater than 5, it will print this value. Right. Here it should be x is less than 5 because x is already 1. So it won't print in this case. Okay, it will only print for the one time. Right. Because if we check the difference between while loop and do while loop, what will happen? If x is greater than 5, here you can see, then no statement will execute, right? Because x value is currently 1, and x for the condition which we are checking is x should be greater than 5, then only it will go inside this loop, right? So it won't be executed. But in this case what will happen is the do part will execute first, followed by the while statement. Therefore the statement will be executed once only. Alright, so let's start with the practical example, practical implementation of these three loops followed by the continue statement. That's the jump statement. So open your Eclipse in the src folder, create a new class and name it as for loop example. Clicking on public static void main and finish. Eclipse will create a class for us with public static void main. So let us first write the initialization condition, that is x. So int I equals to 0, I is less than 10, I plus plus, and after that let me just print something, loop value. Okay, so we will be printing the value, and now let's just run it and check what it will print, right? So we are getting value starting from 0 to 9. Now let's just check what the jump statement continue will do here. So if in case I want to skip a particular scenario in this loop, let's say if I say that if I equals to 3, then continue. Right, and after that I'll print some value, loop and okay, so it should not print this value for this particular condition, means where we will get continue, then in that case it will skip that particular scenario. In this case it will skip from here, so we won't be able to see this output. Let us just run this and check what would happen. So loop value is 0, loop 0 end, loop value 1, loop 1 end, loop value 2, loop 2 end, C, loop value 3 and loop value 4, loop value 4 end. Here once it reaches here at this point, because when the value becomes 3, so it got a keyword continue, due to which it skipped the part of the program and the next increment cycle take place and the value of I becomes 4 and it executed according to the 4. Alright, so this is how we can write a for loop. Now just let us create a class for while loop. While loop example is my class name, and clicking on public static void main. So here, as I mentioned earlier, I will initialize the value first, followed by the condition. So what will be my condition? That while I is less than 5, let's say, print the value of I equals to plus I. So this will print the value of I. Okay, once the condition met, it will execute this statement, and after that we will increment the value of I so that I will become 1 next time when it exit the loop, and it will again check that if I is less than 5, yes, because I will be 1 at that time, so it will again run. Similarly, it will run from 0 to 4 times. Now let us just run this and check what happens. So value of I is 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Alright, and I'll explain the do while loop as well as I've explained earlier. So we will see the example here. I'll write do what? I'll print the same statement but with a different variable. Okay, so my next variable will be j. And the condition will be j is less than 5. Alright, and let me just put the value of j as 0 here also. So now let me just run this program and check the output first. So the value of j is from 0 to 1, 0 to 4. Great. Now as I was talking earlier, because in the presentation what I did is I changed the operator. Here now it says that I should be greater than 5. Only in that case it will execute, right? Whereas in do while loop I'll do the same thing, then it should execute this particular value for the one time, right? For one time at least. So now let's just check this. We'll get the difference between while and do while loop as well. So as you can see that the while loop did not execute at all. This is because it is checking for the condition I should be greater than 5. Only then it will come under this section, right? Whereas in the case of do while loop, it will first execute this particular section and then it will come here in the checking condition. Therefore, we are able to print this particular value. This is the difference between while and do while loop. This makes it different from other loops. So this is about loops, that is increment statement and continue statement. Hope I was clear in understanding the things. Thank you.